Hello, everybody. How are you on this beautiful day of freedom? So, we're enjoying our time out here in Sydney, and we're hoping that anyone from Melbourne is not far behind us. So, it's very exciting. So, oh, sorry, touched my microphone, probably got all muffled then. But I really do hope that you're enjoying our cooking and that you're learning lots of new things and you're getting a chance to actually get in and really do all these amazing things in the kitchen. So we've really enjoyed being able to do this for you, and we hope to continue doing them for you for a long time. So today I'm going to do a bit of a what's in the fridge. So what I actually did for this one was I literally went through my fridge to have a look at what I had in there, because I used to throw out a lot of food. Okay, so it's so easy just to throw apples and mandarins and all sorts of things in the garbage, leftovers. So I'm going to take you through what I'm going to do today. So I'm going to start with just a beautiful fruit compote. We're going to just do some mango and some apple because that's what I had. We're going to pop that into our machine and we're going to cook that up. Really yummy with things like your yogurt and cereal, but we'll get to all of that. We're then going to do a beautiful white chocolate and raspberry mud cake. Now, I love raspberries, they're in season, but sometimes I don't get to use them quick enough. And I do find that they don't last in the fridge as long as we'd like them to. So if you find that they're starting to need a little bit of, TLC, what can I do with them? Melting a white chocolate mud cake in the Cook Expert is the go-to. We're also going to go through and do a beautiful quiche. You've seen me do the pastry before, so I'm going to quickly show you how to whip that pastry up again, but I'm also going to give you another option of how to do a beautiful quiche without actually using the pastry. So if you're in a bit of a hurry and you don't want to be bothered to make pastry, great way to get rid of eggs in the fridge, leftover veggies in the fridge, all those sorts of things that you've got that you want to get rid of, and we'll go through that one as well. We're going to go through just doing some simple breadcrumbs because bread is something that I used to throw out a lot of. I find my family goes through stages of whether they're going to eat bread or not eat bread, and if I don't have it, they want it, and if I do have it, they don't eat it. So it's a great way. We're then going to use some of those breadcrumbs to do some really yummy tuna patties. Again, I always have a tin of tuna in the cupboard, so it's a great one and a great go-to. But I also find that I tend to have leftover mashed potatoes and just other sorts of odd veggies. So it's a really great one, again, to be able to use all those leftovers in the fridge. And then we're going to finish with a banana cake because bananas are driving me crazy right now because you cannot get them to last long enough. You really need to buy them as green as possible and then eat them within the next couple of days. But if you don't get to them, banana cake is the absolute go-to and something that I would make weekly in this house. If it's not banana bread, it would be banana choc chip muffins. So another really nice, easy one. So shall we get going? So I can probably knock all of this over in probably 30 minutes, but we'll see how we go. So we are going to link the recipes on for you as well when we're finished. So you have all these beautiful recipes that you can use and help you to stop throwing things out. So I'd love to know your go-tos when you're looking through the fridge and the cupboard and what you've got to get rid of. We've got Rose there answering your questions. So if you've got questions as we go, feel free to ask. But I will try to remember to give you as much info ingredient-wise as we go if you really want to get on to doing one of these recipes today or even tomorrow. But we will get that up for you as well. So I'm going to start by just popping in some diced up mango and apple. That's all it is. Now, what I love about this recipe is it doesn't need any sugar. I'm just going to put a couple of tablespoons of water. So this recipe is 400 grams of fruit to 2 tablespoons of water. It's in our recipe book as well and on the app. But if you're only doing 200 grams of fruit, just do 1 tablespoon of water. It's that simple. So you can do 600 grams of fruit, whatever it is that you need, and any fruit that you want to use that you then want to be able to mix through things like your yogurt or onto your muesli or any of those things. It's an amazing addition and super healthy because it's got no sugar in it. So if you've got little ones at home, this is a great one to make for them. So rather than buying those packet things and tub things that have all got things in there that you really don't necessarily know, and full of sugar. This is a great way to be able to do it, know exactly what's going on. So I should on the front there have my machine set, ready to go. So we're going to whip this up in 25 minutes. We've got it on speed 3 at 100 degrees. So we'll get that going. Now we will, at the end, give that a little puree as well, but we'll get that one going so that we can move on to our other amazing recipes. So, white chocolate mud cake. Now, the recipe that I use is a recipe that my family and I found in a little cookbook called Cafe Cakes years ago. It's a similar recipe. I've adapted it a little bit because we've got, obviously we're doing it all in the Magimix. So it's a real one-pot wonder. Normally you'd have to have a separate saucepan to melt down your butter and your chocolate and all of that, but we're going to do it all in one pot, which I'm really excited about. So makes it nice and easy for us. So all I'm going to do is add 250 grams of butter and 180 grams of white chocolate. Okay. So generally, I think years ago, the packet size of chocolates decreased. So I'm trying to do it so it's not 200 grams so that you have to go and buy 1 and a bit packets, which is not possible. So we're going to just pop in our white chocolate and our butter. And we're going to do that together. So as I said, normally you'd have to do this in a saucepan and then move on from there. So I'm now going to set this to, if you want to come in and have a look, we're going to get this one set up. And again, we're just going to use expert. And we're going to go to about 3.5 minutes. It worked out that it takes to melt. Speed 3, and we're going to pop that onto 80 degrees. So this is what I love about being able to use something like the induction heating. So the induction heating means that it's going to get it to the degree. It's also instant heat, so it's going to start getting hot and melting very quickly, which is what we want. Great thing too is I can see what's going on. So if you get any little bits of chocolate or butter stuck, you can just stop the machine, push it all down, and get going again with it too. So we'll leave that to just melt, but I'll get you to come in just a minute. We'll just give it a minute to see how quickly it's going to start to melt. So it's really amazing that you can just do that butter and that chocolate together without having to watch it. So nothing worse than having it all set up on a hot plate and then all of a sudden it's like, oh my gosh, I've forgotten about it, or I forgot to stir it and it sticks to the bottom and burns and all of that. We don't want that. So you can come in and start actually having a look. I'll take the cap off. Hopefully it won't splash you. But you can see that that's already starting to melt. So that's probably only been running for just over a minute. I won't leave that off for too long or it'll flip everywhere. But it's only been running for a little bit over a minute, I'd say. So you can see how quickly this is going to come together and how quickly this is going to melt together. Then we're going to add in our sugar, which we've got here. We're going to add in a cup of milk. Now the milk, I think a lot of recipes I found didn't have milk in it. I do like the addition of the cup of milk because I do think that it just gives it that extra sort of, moistness to the cake. I've had complete, love it from all the neighbours. So they're absolutely loving this one. And it's just got white chocolate, and then I'm going to add raspberries. Now, if you don't want to add the raspberries, you don't have to. But as I mentioned, raspberries are in season at the moment and something that quite often I have in the fridge. And if I forget to get to them, it's nice to be able to use them for something. So we're going to add in a minute our 400 grams of sugar. We're going to add 3 eggs, and we're going to add a cup of milk with also some vanilla essence extract that I've already popped in here with my eggs. So we'll just get that melted. So we mustn't have too long to go now. So about a minute, give or take. We're going to get our cup of milk ready, and then we can move on to our next one. But I'll just stick with this one because we're going to do it right from the start to the finish, and you can see how quickly it is that we have a white chocolate mud cake ready to pour into our pan, ready to bake into the oven. So we'll give that just another minute. I'm just going to check it though, because if it's already melted, then there's no reason why I can't stop that. So come and have a look actually, and I think that I'm happy that it's all melted. So we're going to scrape the top of my bowl off. There's a little bit of butter on there, so I might just pop it back on for 30 seconds or so. But isn't that just amazing how in just 2 minutes we've got all of that melting? You couldn't do it that quickly without burning it, in a hot plate. There's in your saucepans, absolutely no way. So I think it's great that we can get something done so quickly. And also too that we're only using one bowl. So one bowl, one lot of mess, that's all we need to worry about. Okay, so we'll just let that, I think that's fine. I think it's melted enough now just after we scrape the top. So I'm going to add to that my sugar. So 400 grams, if you're writing it down and your mouth's watering and you have to make it today. I'm going to add my 3 eggs, and I've also got in there some vanilla extract. Where's my little scraper? So I'll just scrape that vanilla out that I've just popped in there with that. Beautiful. I love using the vanilla bean paste. It's my favourite. Okay, then I'm going to add my cup of milk without spilling it. Oh, look at that. Easy. Okay, done. Now, before we add our flour, I'm going to pop that on just for a minute, but we're going to have now take off the speed. Oh, sorry, not take off the speed, take off the temperature. We don't need any temperature now. So we'll put that back to 0. We're going to go up to speed 8. And we'll just do that for about a minute till that all comes together. So you can have a look at how that's all going to come together beautifully. So the great thing with this is because we haven't made that chocolate and butter too hot, we can put the eggs straight in there. So if we were running that at 100 degrees and it was, getting quite warm, those eggs would start to cook, which we don't want. So we'll run that for a minute, and then we're going to add in our flour. Now I've got 250 grams of plain flour, and then I've got 100 grams of self-raising flour. So the 2 flours, so 250 of plain and 100 of self-raising. But again, all the recipes will be there for you. But if you want to make it before the recipes get up, it's a beautiful cake. And you'll see as when I take the lid off this how silky. Actually, I wonder if you can see. Come and have a look. If you have a look through the cap, you'll see how beautiful and silky that is looking. So hopefully you can see that because it looks amazing. But it's that beautiful sugar coming together and everything else coming together as well. Beautiful. And now I'm going to pop in my flour. And we're going to pop that back on. And this time I'm going to run it on for 1 minute on speed 12. So you want to come in and have a look at us do that. So we'll go up to speed 12. And if you want to have a look up here and you'll see how it all comes together quickly. Oh, not 18 minutes. What was I thinking? Just 1 minute. Got a bit excited then. But you'll see how that's all just going to come together for us. Oh, what's happened? Did I forget to put the speed on? No, I was meant to put it on 12. I put it on 4. See, anyone can do my job. Okay. So you can see now that's all just going to come together absolutely beautifully. So we'll let that do its thing for the minute. Again, if you see any extra flour that's just caught on the edge, you can always stop. And because we're using the Cook Expert, it will just remember where we are at with time. So we can just bring that back all together. Now, when you put this together, you're going to think, wow, this mixture is too runny. It's fine, okay? I promise I've tested it and I've tested it and I've tested it, and I've been requested to test it again, but it is absolutely perfect to be able to come together. So we'll just give that a minute, and then I can pop that aside and show you the finished result of what we got when we did our white chocolate mud cake. So again, it's looking absolutely beautiful. It's got that nice silky texture. I'll just stop that now because I think that that's fine. We'll just give that, oh no, we're all come together. So come and have a look and you'll see what I mean when you have a look at it. You'll see what I mean when I say that it actually has quite a runny consistency. Okay, so can you see that? So don't be afraid of that. That's exactly how it's meant to look, okay? So we want it to have that nice liquid so that we've got that beautiful moist textured cake as well. So we'll just pop that off, and I'm just going to pop this aside and I'll show you the beautiful cake that we made. So I've cut it up as well because I want you to see the raspberries inside it as well. So if I bring this cake in here, can you come and have a look? I'll turn it this way because the other one's my banana bread that's not ready yet to show you. And you can see, so have a look at that straight on. And you can see that beautiful raspberries, it's beautiful moist cake. It's got the little bit of crunch on the top and it is absolutely amazing. So that is what you're going to get in 5 minutes, I reckon. So it was about 2.5, 3 minutes to melt the chocolate. It was a minute to mix the eggs and sugar, an extra minute to mix the flour, 5-minute cake, voila, in the oven, absolutely amazing. Now, it is in the instructions, but like I said, if you're going to cook it today because you're excited, you need to bake it at 160 degrees, so nice and low, and you want to do it for an hour. Okay, after the first hour has gone by, I want you to put some foil over the top. Bake it, it's still at 160, but for another 45 minutes. Okay, so it's about an hour 45 to bake, and then have a look at it after that 45-minute marks with the foil on. But an hour and 45, an hour naked, and then 45 minutes with the foil on, 160 degrees. Perfect. Okay. So, what are we doing? We've made a cake and we've got some fruit on and we've done this in 15 minutes. So we're whipping through these, which we love. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is our quiche. Now, as I mentioned, you can do quiche a number of ways. You can actually do it with your pastry. But I have to tell you a recipe that I found the other day and I tested. It's still in testing phase, but I'll just give you an idea. So I got potatoes and I grated the potatoes with my 2mm grater in my food processor. And then I mixed melted butter through them. And then I lined little cupcake or muffin forms with the grated potato. So kind of like hash browns. And then I baked it. And then when I took it out, I added my egg mixture. Oh, it was really good. So it had that nice crunchy on the outside and that beautiful quiche type, egg in the middle. Really yummy. I want to try it next as a full flan, not just individual. So that's one that I think that would be a really good one if you've got potatoes that need to be used. So when we do our pastry, if those that are following along that own a Cook Expert, you know that you can do exactly what I'm doing in my 5200 food processor because that's what you get with your Cook Expert. Okay. For those of you that don't own a Cook Expert but want to be able to still do some of the great things that we do, again, you could do the mud cake in here, but the problem is you can't melt anything, so you're still going to have to use the saucepan. But we're going to do now in here our pastry, and I think that this is the most amazing machine to do pastry in. So it's really easy, it's really quick to come together, and I'm just going to grab my ingredients. So I'm going to add some flour and water, and that is it. Now this recipe is on, and butter. This recipe is actually in our cookbook and on our app. So for those of you following that don't have the app, great one to download. It's just Magimix Australia. So go onto there and download it in your app store. Then I'm going to add my butter, like so. And then I can pop my water in there as well. So I'll get that all mixed in there. Pop my water in, nice cold water. And then we're just going to get this on its way. So, I'll just stop that for a sec. You're going to know that it's come together when it all comes together on one side. So it'll all be a ball going just around together, but it'll be all together. So if you just watch it. And stop. So you can see, you should be able to see how that's all just now come together. Actually, if you want to come in and have a look, but it's all come together as a perfect ball of dough ready to go. So all I would do now, I'm just going to grab some Glad wrap, is I would remove my dough like so, and then I would pop that into the fridge for about half an hour, okay, because it's too soft to work with at the moment. So you want to be able to pop it into the fridge just to let it set, and then you'll be ready to go. But it's all just come together that quickly, that easily. And it's, again, something that you can do if you're looking for something to eat or to cook and you're not sure and you don't want to go to the shops. I avoid the shops as often as I can now just by looking in the fridge to see what I can make for dinner or for lunch or for whatever. And it's a great way to be able to do your own pastry, and it's a really yummy pastry as well. So I'll just pop that in the fridge, ready to roll out later. So we'll pop that aside. Okay, so now we want to do the inside of our quiche. Now, I'm just going to grab another metal bowl. Now with the quiche, I like to cook my my onion before I put it all together. Okay, so to be able to do that without then overcook, like starting to cook our eggs or anything in here, what I'm going to do is get started. So I'm going to grab my ingredients. So I'm going to start by popping in my onion. Okay, so you all know that this is a great one for being able to chop your onions in the Cook Expert, and then also to be able to cook them off. So I'm just going to turn that on. I think it's on about speed 12. Beautiful. Let's grab some oil, and you'll see how easily, if you want to come and have a little look, but you can see, I'll try not to cry, but you can see how then my onion is nicely chopped, ready to go. Now, as I said, I don't want raw onion. I don't really like it that way. So what I'm going to do is now just cook that off for about a minute. Oops, just on speed 3. Just for a minute. We'll go a minute and a half. And then I'm going to pop that up to 110 degrees. I'm going to let that go. Okay, so we'll let that onion cook off. I'm really trying hard not to let that onion bother me, but it's bothering me. Okay, so we're going to brown that off, and then we're going to pop in anything you've got. So if you've got ham, use ham. If you've got bacon, use bacon. The amount of ham I used to throw out drove me insane. If you're not ready to make a quiche, but your ham's almost at the edge of its expiry, just dice it up and pop it into the freezer so it's there on hand, ready to use, because it's a great thing to be able to pop into your quiche. So, you know, less food waste, less rubbish going into the garbage bin. I love when I put my garbage bin out on the weekend, on whatever day, what's bin day, Wednesday. I love when I put the bin out and it's not full, because it makes me feel like I've made a difference. So, you know, when you're putting the bin out and it's overflowing and you've got, you know, your rubbish bin's full all the time inside. And so it's just one, you know, just your little sort of, you know, help on the environment and your sort of small footprint that you're being able to really help. Okay, so we'll get that going. That's done. We're going to add, so if you've got vegetables that are needing to be used, I'm kind of under the smoke here. If you've got veggies that need to be used, so I would grate down some carrots, I would grate zucchini. I would also do things like nice slices of red capsicum to layer on the top. You could also do some cherry tomatoes, so layer your cherry tomatoes on the top. But basically whatever you've got, just pop it in there. So, you know, quiche is a really great one for whether it's for breakfast or whether it's to take for lunch, for you know, work. So I'm just going to then pop in my bacon, and this is when I'm just going to pop in all of my other veggies. So anything I've got that I can add in there, just grated down. And again, I'm just going to cook that off just for a minute. So exactly the same. I should just be able to add a minute onto that. Is my time adding onto that? Okay, so yep, a minute, back onto speed 3. And we'll just cook that bacon up a little bit. So when we go to add the rest of our ingredients, I'm just going to give a little bit of a drain of the liquid that's in there. But when we go to put the rest of our ingredients in, as I mentioned earlier, this is hot now, so we don't want to be throwing our eggs straight in there and then have them to start to cook on us. So I'll just grab all of my ingredients. So just give me a sec to grab these. And I'll bring them all in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some milk. I'm going to add some cream, and I'm also going to add my eggs. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to add my eggs last, okay? Because I don't want the eggs to go straight into that hot mixture. I want the milk and cream to sort of cool it down a little bit for me first. So we're going to do that. What I'm then going to do is I'm actually going to put, and this is in the recipe, it gives you 2 options. So if you don't want to do a quiche with the pastry. I can give you a little cheat way of actually getting it pastry-like, I guess you could call it. So I'm just going to scrape down, again, my bowl. Like so. I do like that, you know, we've fried up that onion and everything, just that little bit. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour in my milk. So it's going to start to cool everything down for me. Because I really wanted to do it all in one pot. I didn't want to have to whisk eggs separately somewhere else to do anything like that. You just want to do it all together. And we're going to pop our cream in, like that. Now, my little tip is we're going to throw in half a cup of flour. Now, when you do the half a cup of flour, what I find is when the quiche cooks, it actually is almost like a pastryless quiche with a little crust on the edge, like you've put a little bit of pastry on it, but it doesn't have that thick pastry feel. Okay, so that is my tip for just that half a cup of flour to pop in there. Then we're going to pop in our eggs, and then we're going to mix that. So we're going to turn that temperature off. Okay, so turn off our temperature because we don't want to cook any of our eggs. I'm going to put that on for about a minute. Pop that lid back on. So at the moment it's sitting on speed 3. So I'll start that at speed 3 so you can come and have a look. But all I'm going to do is just move that along and then just up my speed just a little bit, just to bring all of those ingredients together. Now, if you wanted to, it didn't chop any of my bacon or my onion, it's still all intact. If you wanted to, you could actually scrape that onion and bacon into your flan form, but I haven't needed to do that, it's all fine. And then I'm going to pour that out into my flan form. Now, I do like using the silicone. So, oh, sorry, just being a bit awkward there, aren't I? Okay. So I'm just going to pour that straight in to my form. But you can see, I don't know whether you can tell, but you can. For me, it's got that little bit of thickness to it because we've been able to add that flour. But you can see that's all going to come out of there, all straight into our form. And then we're going to just pop that in and get that baking. So what I would do, as I mentioned, is if you've got some red capsicum slices, or if you've got some cherry tomatoes that you can pop those on the top as well when you go to bake it. Pop it into the oven, about 180 degrees, takes about 30 minutes, but it's a beautiful thing to throw into a lunchbox for lunches, add some salad to it. It's a great one for an easy breakfast to, you know, feed a family, and it's really simple. So we did it, again, all in one bowl. Didn't have to worry about getting out the whisk and all those other things, so we've done it all together. So I'll just pop that away. I'm probably going to run out of bowls, but we'll see how we go. Okay, so how long's our fruit got? Okay, it's only got a couple of minutes to go, so that's good. So I'm going to move on. And the next one is really easy, and it's breadcrumbs. Breadcrumbs, like I said earlier, is something that you can do yourself. You can store your breadcrumbs in the pantry in an airtight container for a good couple of weeks. You can also store your breadcrumbs in the fridge, give you a little bit longer, but freeze them. Okay, so if you've got lots, just pop them into the freezer and use them that way. We're just piling the washing up for the cleaner at the end. It's just going to pop in and be all right. Okay, so I'm going to now move on. I'm going to grab, I'll just pop that bowl up there for now. I'm just going to grab another food processor bowl. And we're going to whip up our breadcrumbs super quick. So I'll just pop that on there like that. Okay. So breadcrumbs, like I said, you can use breadcrumbs then for absolutely everything and anything. So I would use breadcrumbs for doing my chicken schnitzels. So that's one thing that I know my family love is my snitties. And nice and easy to do. And lovely when you do your own breadcrumbs. You can use your own breadcrumbs to do your arancini balls if you're out of panko crumbs. You can also use them in what we're going to do today, which is some beautiful tuna patties, which I'm going to do in a minute. Okay, so my bread. This is just super basic, honestly. It just, for all of those, I want to know how many people throw their bread out and don't think, oh, maybe I should make breadcrumbs. I will say I was one of those people. So how many of you out there actually do throw out a lot of bread that have decided from now they're going to promise to stop throwing bread out. Honestly, I was throwing more bread out than I could even think that I was purchasing. So, yes, crazy. So I'm going to pop my lid on there and we're just going to hit go. Let me just clean up for a sec. Get rid of some stuff. Okay, are you ready? This is how simple breadcrumbs are. We're done. Now with our food processor, if you didn't want to use the auto button and you want to have a bit of on and off control, just use the pulse. So pulse on, let it go, off. Okay, so the bread I used today was actually a leftover baguette that we had. So not only did I make my own bread, but I've then turned my own bread into my own breadcrumbs. Oh, so come and have a look then at how beautiful and easy those breadcrumbs have come together. And they are delicious and easy and simple and ready for me to roll tuna cakes into. Okay, so with the, actually our fruit has just finished. So let me just whip that up for you and show you how amazing this one is. So we're just going to have a look and just show you how. So come and have a little look. You can see all that fruit. I wish you could smell it, apples and mango. And all I'm going to do is then turn my machine on to some speed. So I'm going to get rid of the temperature. And we're going to just put this on for about, let's just say 30 seconds, but it won't need that one. We're going to start it and we're just going to up our speed and we're just going to turn that into okay, that's probably enough. That's been about 15 seconds. Oh yes, look at this. Come on in. While you're looking at that, I'm just going to rinse my lid because I need another lid. But you can see that and how beautiful that has come together and how it hasn't been a torture to be able to do either. It hasn't burnt onto my saucepan. It hasn't burnt. I haven't, if I've forgotten about it, because it's easy to forget about things just sitting on the side there. But you can see that beautiful. Honestly, if you could just smell this would be beautiful over the top of, a cheesecake or just anything like that would just be absolutely amazing. So it's a really great way to get rid of that fruit. If you're not going to use it straight away, freeze it into cubes, pop it into your freezer and then use it in smoothies, okay? Because it's apples and it's, your mangoes, but if you were doing it with strawberries, you could do it with anything. So if you had lots of leftover berries, really great way. Pop it in the fridge, pop it in the freezer, use it throughout the week or, use it in drinks and smoothies and things as well. So amazing, absolute winner that one. We love that one. Okay, we're running out of room to put things. Really need to get that bigger kitchen happening. Okay, so the tuna patties. And again, these are really simple to do. And we're going to do these in our Cook Expert. Now, there are two ways you can do this depending on what you like. So if you wanted to chop up your onions and then brown them a little bit, then absolutely you can do it. Some people don't mind just, because you're going to cook these patties anyway, but it's completely up to you. So if you're not using a Cook Expert and you're using a food processor, this entire thing can be done in the food processor. Okay, so you can chop your onions, you can add all your ingredients. For this purpose, I will do it in the stainless steel bowl. I'll just grab my ingredients. I will do it in the stainless steel bowl. I'm not going to worry about frying my onions off, but it's up to you. Because I know a lot of people are turned off things like, homemade rissoles and things like that. Just one moment. Sorry. I can feel that onion's finally getting to me. Okay. So you do find people do... yeah, like to, if they're doing rissoles or anything like that, they do like to cook their onion off first. Absolutely, if that's what you want to do, by all means do that. For this one, I'm not going to, but it certainly is an option for you to be able to do that. Okay, so we're going to start by just popping our onion and our parsley into the bowl, like so. Okay, so I've got about half a bunch of flat leaf parsley there. And then we're just going to give that a chop. So I'll come in and chop that up. I should have had my oven on so I could have quiche ready as soon as I've finished. Okay. Oh, sorry. Let me just get rid of our temperature. Like so. We'll start on about 9 and get that chopping. Okay, so if you do need to chop a little bit more, I just need my spatula. I've lost all my spatulas. I don't know what I've done. Okay, so I'm just going to scrape that down. And if you do want to chop it a little bit more, by all means, give it a little bit more of a chop. Completely up to you. I love the smell of parsley when it's freshly chopped. Okay, so I'll just give that a little bit more of a chop. Beautiful. Now all I'm going to do, and this is so simple, I don't know why I haven't done this until I was looking going, what am I going to do with all this leftover mash? And I thought, oh my gosh, haven't done tuna patties for years. I've just got a can of tuna, so I'm just going to pop in my can of tuna. Love tuna as well. Could do this with salmon as well. So if you're more into the salmon than you are the tuna, you could certainly do that. We're then going to add in our mashed potato. So honestly, quite often I do have mashed potato left over and I hate wasting food. I have children that don't really like leftovers, honestly. Oh, that onion's stinging my eyes. So this is a really great one to get rid of leftovers because it's all going straight in to the bowl. And then we're going to add our lemon juice and some fish sauce. So I've got that there all mixed together as well. Oh, that onion's really stinging my eyes. And we're going to add our egg. Now, if you've put this together and you go, oh, it's a little bit, runnier than I want it to be, you can add some of those beautiful breadcrumbs that we put together. Oh, that lid's not going to fit on there. Let's try this one. You can actually do that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to pop that back on. And I'm just going to come around here to make sure I get the right speed. So I'm just going to put it back down to speed 3. And we're just going to give that about a minute. But you'll see when you need to stop it and when it's come together enough. So that's what I love about being able to see into the bowl with that beautiful glass lid. So if you want to have a look, come in and have a look. You'll see that that is going to start to come together. I might just need to up my speed a little bit. I think because my mashed potato was really cold too. Let me just stop that for a sec. Give it a little stir. Now, the other thing that I would add into here, which you certainly can add, is frozen corn. Yum. Another thing that I often have, always seem to have in the freezer. So that's just going to come together beautifully. And once that's come together, just up that speed just a little bit. Okay. Okay, so can you see now how that has all come together? So if you want to come in here, it's all come together. Now what I would do, I'm not going to do it now because my hands will be too messy, but I just do handfuls and I pop it into my hands and then I roll it into the breadcrumbs. Then what you're going to do is you're going to set it aside and you're going to pop them in the fridge for about half an hour just to get a little bit firmer because they're a lot easier to work with and to fry and everything when they're a little bit firmer. If you wanted to do it in an air fryer, by all means you can do that. If you want to cook them in the oven, just spray them with a little bit of oil on some baking paper, which is great if you've sat them and rested them in the fridge on baking paper on a tray, because then you can just pull them straight out, give them a spray, pop them straight into the oven. These are really yummy for, again, lunches with salad. So pop a couple of these patties in with some salad on the side. You can eat them warm, you can eat them cold. It doesn't matter. They're amazing either way. But yes, add that frozen. And I do have the corn there to add, but I just forgot to get it. I'll get it out now just so that you can see I really do it. So I'm just going to grab my corn, and I just do frozen corn because honestly, by the time you go to then cook these, that corn will defrost. It's already cooked. It's ready to go. So I will apologise, I forgot to add my corn. But again, it's personal choice. If you don't have corn and you like peas, put peas in it. If you've got leftover carrots and zucchinis, then, you know, grind them up and add them. It doesn't matter. It just adds more veggies, more flavour, more everything to what it is that you're cooking to get those foods out of the fridge and getting them into your bellies instead of the bin. Okay, so there we have that one. Now we've got one to go. Can you believe it? What's the time? 4:40. So in 40 minutes, we've done, what have we done? The fruit compote. We've done a beautiful quiche. We've done our tuna patties. We've done our white chocolate raspberry mud cake. We've done, what else have we done? Breadcrumbs. And we've got one to go. Now, I didn't show you my tuna patties. So these are them. They are amazing to eat with salads and things. So they're nice and yummy, nice and easy, nice way to get rid of leftover. Any kind of veg you want to pop in there. If you are not a big fan of potato, do sweet potato or do pumpkin. Pumpkin can be a little bit wetter. So if you're doing it with the pumpkin, then you just might have to add, you actually will have to add some breadcrumbs. So just to give it a little bit of thickness. But that is our tuna. Are you ready for banana cake? Oh, I left my freezer open, by the way. That was clever. Okay, banana bread is divine. Okay, do you know, if you go in and buy banana bread in the cafe, it's like $6 or $7 for a slice of banana bread. And this is the season to use your bananas, because I'm finding, honestly, they go they go in my fruit bowl, and I go, yeah, as soon as I like them when they're just yellow, and a day after that, it's too late. So you really have to watch them, and you really need to make sure you eat them. And I hate it when I end up having to throw them out. So no more. You're all going to be with me on this. No more waste. You're not doing it. You're going to start using these bananas. Now, I know that you can also peel your bananas and pop them into some Ziploc bags or a airtight container, and pop them in the freezer if you're not quite ready to use them either. So you've always got them there. You can make smoothies with them. You can use them to do your banana cakes, your banana breads, your banana muffins, anything that you want to go bananas. You've got my absolute tick to go bananas. Okay, so are you ready? And this is a really yummy, again, we've had the tick of approval. It even passed the approval of our little gorgeous 10-month-old next door. So we got the thumbs up and a laugh and a smile. So that was all good. So we're going to start by popping in our, okay, now my tip. I've tried this two ways. I've tried that to do it once with eggs, whole eggs, and then I've also tried it with just the egg white. I would honestly do it egg white only. The difference in even my kids picked it up. The difference in the two batches that I tried, that just the egg whites alone just made it it was moister for longer. It was just lighter. It was just really, really yummy. So use those egg yolks for mayonnaise. See, don't have to waste it. No waste going on here at all. So we're going to crack our eggs in, and as I said, we're just going to use our whites. Now that I'm doing this live, I'll probably end up with yolks in there. Oh no, look at that. You just never know how it's going to go, do you? Okay, so I'll get that off. Okay, and I'm going to put my yolk there because I am due for homemade mayo, actually. I don't buy mayonnaise anymore either. If you've seen my staples that we did mayo. And I love that with mayo, see, honestly, anyone could do my job. Just give me one moment while I fetch out that yolk. See, wouldn't have even known if you weren't watching. Okay, so we'll sit that aside. We'll make a double lot of mayo. We're going to add in our bananas. So it's about 400 to 500 grams of bananas, and that's before they've been peeled. That's kind of how I weighed them. So we're going to pop in our bananas. We're also going to pop in our brown sugar and our oil. I ran out of bench space, hence why I have to keep walking over there. So we're going to pop in our oil. So we don't even need butter or anything with this one. And we're going to pop in our brown sugar as well, like that. Oh, I'm so glad I have a dishwasher at the end of this. Okay, so we're going to pop that into our Food Pro. I'm going to lock that on. Now, all I'm going to do is use the pulse button. Now, I want complete control of this one, and I'm going to use the pulse button because I still want my bananas to be that little bit chunky, so I don't want them completely souped. I want them to be a little bit chunky, so here we go. Yep, I'm happy with that. So again, how quickly did we get that to come together? So normally you need a separate bowl to mash the bananas, and then you add this, and then you add that, and then it's always lots going on. So this just makes it a whole lot easier. So then I'm just going to add my flour. I've got some flour, some salt, some baking powder, baking soda, and some cinnamon as well. And I'm just going to pop that straight in there. Like so. Sorry. Try to be, you know when you try to be quiet? It doesn't work. Okay, and then we're going to just, again, use the pulse button because it's nice and easy. We don't want to overstir it. We just want it to come together. Voila. So you can have a look at that. Come in and have a look. You can still see we've got little bits of banana chunk in there. Can you see it all right? We've got it all mixed together beautifully. It's come together so easily. And if you have a look in front of me, you will see our finished product of our beautiful banana bread. Now this is also a great one because you can freeze it. So if you want to cut it into slices, pop it into the freezer. You can then bring it out, you know, the night before or the day of, pack it into kids' lunch boxes, especially when we're going into summer. Everything's so hot. You want to be able to, send the kids to school with things that aren't going to end up really warm and awful when they go to eat them. So it'll be nice and fresh feeling because it's defrosted in their bags during the day. And I think that is it. So, tuna patties. So you can see all these amazing things. We've done the tuna patties, we've done the banana, so tuna patties, banana bread, we've done that beautiful white chocolate raspberry mud cake, we've done our beautiful quiche, we've whipped together our breadcrumbs, and then we've done this beautiful fruit. Now let me get a spoon and just show you how beautiful this fruit actually comes. Oh, look at that. It is divine. So a really yummy one, and I can't wait till that cools down. Could even make that, throw it into a punch. You could do anything with it. It's absolutely everything. So lots and lots we've done. We've done all of this today in about 45 minutes. So, it's lots of great things that we've pulled out of the cupboard and we've pulled out of the fridge. And we've used those things that, ordinarily we might throw out. And we're not going to do that anymore. So please tell me what else it is that you find in your fridge and you want an idea of what to do with it. Let us help you find something to do with that and help you to save on waste and space in your bin, and that you're going to be spending way less money because you're going to have lots of other things to be able to make and create for your family. So hope you enjoyed today. Recipe will be up soon. If you've got any questions, please keep asking. We'll keep answering even when we're finished, and we'd love any feedback that you've got for us. Thank you.